Julie London sings the Marlboro song.
Where there's a man, there's a Marlboro. You get a lot to like with a Marlboro. Filter, flavor, flip-top box. You get a lot to like with a Marlboro. Filter, flavor, flip-top box.
Marlboro, popular filter price. And now, another first from Marlboro. Something new inside Marlboro's flip-top box. It's the handy self-starter. Just slowly pull up the red tab and the cigarettes pop up. One more reason you get a lot to like with Marlboro. Try them. Julie London sings the Marlboro song.
Where there's a man, there's a Marlboro. You like the flavor of a Marlboro. Good filter, good flavor, good mild smoke. Make yours the filter made by Marlboro. You get a lot to like with a Marlboro. Filter, flavor, flip-top box.
Among the many stars of opera, stage, and screen who are camel smokers is Henry Fonda.
Henry Fonda gladly tried the famous camel test, and that's how Henry did decide that camels suit him best.
Camels smoke camels and see how mild a cigarette can be.
Among the many stars of opera, stage, and screen who are camel smokers is Miss Ann Sothern.
On stage and screen and radio, Ann Sothern is a star. She's chosen camels 'cause she knows how mild camels are.
Camels smoke camels and see how mild a cigarette can be. How mild, how mild, how mild can a cigarette be? Make the Camel 30-day test and you'll see, yes, you'll see how mild a cigarette can be. Smoke Camels and see.
He's been a great movie star and a U.S. Navy test pilot. He's been a big-name band leader who plays every instrument in the band. He's been a Broadway leading man, a radio star, and a television star. He's Mr. Versatility, Buddy Rogers.
And I've also been, still am, and will continue to be a camel smoker. You see, I have a pretty good idea of what I want in a cigarette. I like rich flavor. And to me, there's no cigarette that tastes as good as a Camel. I like a cigarette that agrees with my throat, and Camels do just that.
Like Buddy Rogers, millions find Camels exactly to their liking. Camels are America's most popular cigarette by far. They have a flavor you won't find in any other cigarette. Try Camels yourself as your steady smoke for 30 days. Your T-Zone will tell you how mild and good-tasting Camels are, pack after pack, week after week. You'll soon see why Camel is America's most popular cigarette, leading all other brands by billions.
Here's an impromptu interview with screen star Dennis O'Keefe. About how long have you been smoking Camels?
Well, rough guess, I'd say about 15, 20 years.
Were Camels your first love in cigarettes, or did you try other brands?
Well, they weren't my first love. No, I smoked some other brands before I switched to Camels.
Well, did you find that Camels were better, taste better, get along with your throat?
Well, yes, they get along wonderfully with your throat. The main thing is that I like the taste of them. I think that anybody that smokes for the pleasure that they get out of it, and I get a big kick out of Camels.
Well, you're around the studios, the sound studios, that is, quite a bit making pictures. How long do you work during the course of a day?
Well, we work 8 hours during the course of the day, not counting overtime, which we manage to wiggle in once in a while. And, of course, during that time, we talk continuously. That's what we get paid for, you know.
Well, don't you feel that your cigarettes have to be pretty mild then?
Well, yes, a mild cigarette's a very important part of a cigarette. If they haven't got mildness, why, they irritate you and cause hoarseness, etc. I find Camel's a very mild cigarette, but at the same time, well, you know, you've had a good smoke.
Say, I can see you're enjoying it. Dennis, did you make your own 30-day Camel mildness test?
Well, personally, I've made the 30-day Camel test many, many times over. But it didn't take me 30 days either to know that this was my brand. Just about the first pack, I think.
Thanks very much, Dennis.
Say, there's Dennis O'Keefe.
Right. It's just like he does in the movie.
Gee, he's good looking. Let's walk past this table.
Now, let's not be too obvious.
Look, he smokes Camels just like we do.
Sure, I smoke Camels. Have one?
All right. Thank you.
How about you?
Much obliged.
I'd like to tell you why I smoke Camels. And like many actors and actresses I know, I've smoked them for years. I've never found another cigarette that comes up to Camel's rich, full flavor. And here's the reason it's so important to me as an actor. When I changed to Camels, I found out that they agree with my throat, pack after pack, and week after week. Try Camels yourself. Smoke them for 30 days and see if you don't agree with me. We'll see why Camel is by far America's most popular cigarette.
Cigarette mildness is important to actors and singers. That's why so many smoke Camels. Listen to Dennis O'Keefe.
When I changed to Camels, I found that they agree with my throat. Pack after pack, week after week. And no other cigarette comes up to Camels for flavor.
Here's your script for tomorrow, Mr. Hames. Rehearsal it, too.
Oh, thanks, Madge.
Say, you know something, Madge? Anybody in this business has a pretty tough schedule. For example, I just made a new movie, got some new records to cut. With radio and television guest appearances, it can get kind of rugged.
Kind of rugged on your voice. Oh, I see you're a Camel smoker, too.
I sure am. With all the singing I do, I've got to think of my throat. And believe me, Camels have a mildness that agrees with my throat, and a rich flavor I couldn't find in any other cigarette.
Try Camels yourself as your steady smoke for 30 days. Your T-Zone will tell you how mild and good-tasting Camels are, pack after pack, week after week. You'll soon see why Camel is America's most popular cigarette, leading all other brands by billions.
Every puff's a pleasure. Folks, you can well imagine how important my voice is to me. So naturally, I have to have a cigarette that agrees with my throat. So I smoke Camels. They suit my throat and taste to a T. Why don't you change to Camels, too?
Let's watch a motion picture in the making.
Your record's over, sweetheart. Believe me, I hate to see a pretty girl like you go to jail.
Okay, print it. Relax, everybody. You too, Mr. Poe.
Well, that's something I really know how to do. Whether it's between scenes in a motion picture or during rehearsals of my radio program, Richard Diamond. I know how to relax. I just sit back and enjoy Camel. There's real flavor for you. I smoke Camels regularly because they're mild and they agree with my throat. And that's mighty important when you use your voice as much as I do.
Try Camels yourself as your steady smoke for 30 days. Your T-Zone will tell you how mild and good-tasting Camels are, pack after pack, week after week. You'll soon see why Camel is America's most popular cigarette, leading all other brands by billions.
Yes, make a note. Think of your throat. Enjoy Camels. I always do.
Just because Ilona Massey has reached stardom does not mean she has stopped studying. Beautiful Ilona takes every chance she can get to improve her voice.
Well, let's take a break, Ilona. How about time out for a cigarette?
Oh, if it's Camel, yes. Once a Camel smoker, always a Camel smoker. Thank you. You see, I found that out when I made my own 30-day Camel mildness test. Camels are just right for my throat, and you know how much that means to me. After all, I use my voice quite a great deal. Besides, I've never smoked another cigarette that tastes as good as a Camel.
See for yourself how mild, how flavorful, how enjoyable Camels are, pack after pack. See why more people smoke Camels than any other cigarette. Change to Camels today.
Let's see what beautiful Ava Gabor does when she finishes a television show. One of the first things is to relax and reach for a cigarette. Yes, they're Camels. Like so many stars who use their voices constantly, Ava Gabor smokes Camels.
Let's go somewhere where we can be comfortable. And I tell you why I smoke Camels. You see, I had to be sure my cigarette agreed with my throat. I tried most of the leading brands, and I found that I liked Camel the best of all.
Try Camels yourself as your steady smoke for 30 days. Your T-Zone will tell you how mild and good-tasting Camels are, pack after pack, week after week. You'll soon see why Camel is America's most popular cigarette, leading all other brands by billions.
Try Camels yourself.
Like so many actors and singers, Ava Gabor smokes Camels. Miss Gabor, will you tell us why?
I had to be sure my cigarettes agreed with my throat. Since I changed to Camels, I don't worry about my throat. Camels are so mild and they taste so good.
Marguerite Piazza, one of the loveliest stars in opera and television, is among the many, many smokers around the country who have made the 30-day Camel mildness test, smoking only Camels for 30 days. Let's hear what Miss Piazza has to say.
If you want to smoke a cigarette that's mild and good tasting, too, try Camels. I did, and I found that Camels have a mildness that agrees with my throat, and a rich flavor that I didn't find in any other brand.
Try Camels yourself as your steady smoke for 30 days. Your T-Zone will tell you how mild and good-tasting Camels are, pack after pack, week after week. You'll soon see why Camel is America's most popular cigarette, leading all other brands by billions.
Why don't you change to Camels, too?
Here's what opera star Marguerite Piazza says about Camels.
If you want to smoke a cigarette that's mild and good tasting, too, try Camels. I did, and I found that Camels have a mildness that agrees with my throat, and a rich flavor that I didn't find in any other brand. Try Camels and see.
Among the many stars of opera, stage, and screen who are Camel smokers is Miss Marguerite Piazza.
Miss Piazza has a thrilling voice that has us all beguiled. And Camels are her smoking choice because they're cool and mild.
Camel, smoke Camel, and see how mild a cigarette can be.
Among the many stars of opera, stage, and screen who are Camel smokers is Robert Young.
Robert Young would walk a mile for Camels and with haste, for he smoked Camels quite a while. They suit his throat and taste.
Camel, smoke Camels, and see how mild a cigarette can be.
You may have a little trouble finding the town of Alberta Lee, Minnesota on the map, but we probably all know one of its native sons, Richard Carlson. He's been in many movies and in Broadway plays. He has also written plays for Broadway. Like so many stars of the theatrical world, Richard Carlson smokes America's most popular cigarette, Camels. Here's why he smokes Camels.
You know, when you're shooting a picture, you've got to be in good voice. Well, since I switched to Camels, I never worry. Camels get along with my throat pack after pack. And they've got a flavor that no other cigarette has.
Try Camels yourself as your steady smoke for 30 days. Your T-Zone will tell you how mild and good-tasting Camels are, pack after pack, week after week. You'll soon see why Camel is America's most popular cigarette, leading all other brands by billions.
Won't you join me?
Camel close-ups. The ladies always take a second look at Robert Merrill, popular baritone of opera and concert stage. Let's meet him after the show.
Bob, those broad shoulders of yours suggest that you were an athlete.
Well, I guess I'm the only opera singer who was ever slated for a tryout with the Brooklyn Dodgers. But I'm not the only singer who's a Camel fan. Lots of us are.
Well, Bob, tell me, why do so many singing stars like you smoke Camels?
Well, in my case, what with rehearsals, a heavy schedule at the opera, TV shows, concert tours, I can't take chances with my voice. I have to have a cigarette that agrees with my throat, and Camels fill the bill. They're mild, and they taste great.
Make a note. Think of your throat. Try Camels today.
The broad-shouldered gentleman you see lighting a Camel is Robert Merrill, star of opera and television.
Like so many singers I know, I smoke Camels. I can't take chances with my voice. I have to have a cigarette that agrees with my throat, and Camels fill the bill. They're mild, and they taste great.